are in listen-only mode.
Alright guys, let me know you can hear me okay. And if you want to, you can comment in the Skype group as well. I've got that open as well. Okay, so we've got 14 people. Just see. Great. Okay. What I've started to do from the webinar that we did last time, I think it was for Traffic Scout and niche ripping, I started to do, instead of those bullet points Google Docs, what I decided to do was to write them out like a blog post, because that's eventually what they turn out to be. So I've done that here. I will talk through it just like the bullet points anyway, but I'll give you this if you want to sort of go through it, so you can keep as a reference until I get it onto the blog, and we can put some stuff with mind maps and stuff onto the blog. So we've always got a permanent reference to this kind of stuff, as well as having webinar replays inside any member areas. So the blog will always have any training from the webinars that are to do with the premium tools will be in the blog post as well, with a little bit more information like resources, mind maps, any PDFs or anything like that we do. Okay, so let me just grab this. I think I just did it, but I'll copy it again anyway. You can have this. You don't need to read it like a blog post. I'll talk through it. Let's get this in there. Right now, so we've been about 1 week now, I think, since we released the tool, maybe a little bit more. We had that trip to do. I had my daughter over here and visiting Thailand, so unfortunately I was away for probably the wrong time. As we were releasing this, it took a little bit longer to get out than what we expected. I expected it was going to be released the week before, but there was still a lot of work to be done at that point, so it kind of coincided with me having to do the trip that was already pre-booked, but you know, that's just the way things go at times. Let me first start by saying that this is not the complete tool. Okay, we've still got so much more to add into this tool. And one of the things I was mentioning has been brought up several times by the same person, funny enough, was talking about the bookmark tool. Okay, the next job for us really was to go and to do the bookmark tool. What I wanted to do was to buy myself a little bit more time by taking some elements that we were going to put into the bookmark tool anyway and put it into one of the other alpha tools, and make sure that everybody who purchased either Social Bookmark Commando or Bookmark Alpha would have access to those upgrades that we will put into one of the alpha tools, to make sure that everybody who purchased either one of those have got something to work with. What we did do at the time, that we had problems with the image captures, what we did do at the time was we changed it from having single profile account creators for the bookmark sites into multi bulk profile creators, because we had less sites that we could work with because of the image captures, and it's kind of stayed like that, and I won't take it away at any point. There's no danger of that, but we do need to add some more sites into the bookmark tools, and I wanted to add excuse me, some things for social elements, so that we could increase social signals in a way that you have complete control. So you could put in unlimited accounts, a little bit like the Twitter RSS feed tool that we've got. I think we called it Twitter RSS Extreme, where you can put in as many Twitter accounts as you want, and you can make a tweet from the authority account. You assign one of those as an authority account, then you know the rest of them would come and retweet or favorite or like or whatever it is on Twitter, so that you got those social signals building. And those kind of things I can put into the alpha tools in the meantime to give us more time on this one, because this is such a major tool now that we've got the ability to do the drag and drop stuff, and I want to take it much further. And we still have some work to do with alpha networks, and I want to put some drag and drop elements into Video Synd Alpha as well. So I need to get your guys' feedback on that. I did ask in the Skype group, but not many people replied. So if anybody has got, you know, an opinion on it. Let me know whether you think this is a good idea or not, where I can put in more bookmark sites. I can put in some more social elements, which we will put a tab called Social Explosion or something like that. And we will put back the bookmark tool stuff just a little bit longer so that we can focus on what we already have. Because to be honest, you know, the bookmark tool, that's the two main things that needed to be done, but we need to add in some extra elements in there that I haven't really given a huge amount of thought to right now, which is not a major problem for me. I usually can come up with some great ideas pretty quickly, but I want to give it a little bit more time and start pondering on it from now for at least, you know, a few more weeks so that we can focus on what we're doing here. And when we come to do the bookmark alpha and upgrade it, it's going to be something really, really special rather than, you know, try to do it ad hoc at the time we're building it. Okay. All right. Most people are saying focus on SSA. Thanks, Simon. Thanks, Richard. And Dave, thanks. Integrate the tool as much as possible. Yeah, I think it's better that we do that because it's just easier. Because when we build out those alpha tools, they take weeks. They literally take weeks, probably about 12 weeks before we've got from start to finish a stable version. Okay, now we do already have bookmark alpha, but it needs to be rebuilt. We need to take out things like the scuttle sites and plague sites and all those crappy sites that are not really doing us any good, and build it into something more unique and better with a lot of social signal elements in there as well. Okay, we need interactivity today. Okay, that's the main thing that we need to be looking at for video as well. Bookmarking we know works really, really well. Interactivity like comments work really well. Interactivity like social shares from inside YouTube, you know, the little share buttons we got underneath the YouTube videos. This is what I'm talking about. This gets picked up because it's coming direct from YouTube. Now we can integrate that. We can go and click those. We can automate that from inside YouTube, which I believe, personally, I believe, I haven't got any proof on it, but I think that's going to be much, much higher value social signals because it's coming from directly inside YouTube. I do believe that will affect rankings rather than just, you know, social signals coming direct from Twitter or something from an embed. It's just my opinion. I haven't got any proof. I don't know if there's a way that I could prove it, but that's what I want to do, and I want to focus on that kind of thing so that we can get those interactivity working. So I can build that into these kind of tools that we've got right now and just buy myself a few more weeks so that we can make this really, really special because it's already halfway there. Okay, it's nowhere near finished. I'll show you in a second what we've got to build in, and that's just stage one, what I'm going to show you. And there's a whole bunch more stuff to build in there. So before we get into Social Synd Alpha, let's start by asking, has anybody had any issues so far? Anything? I'm aware of a couple of things that we need to do, we still need to get done. Those things would be filling out the bio profiles, which we have to do semi-automated. So after the account creator is finished, then we would have another button somewhere up here where we've got this creating accounts and verifying accounts. We would have another one here that would be filling the bio profiles. We tried to fully automate it. We spent 2 days and got one site, and then we were struggling with it so much. I said to him, just stop it for now. We need to semi-automate it. What we can do is we can try and speed that up with some kind of macros type of thing where it will pre-fill, you know, spun content into bio profiles, but you would have to add your own image and stuff, just semi-automated to fill out those bio profiles. We also want to build in for changing themes on sites like WordPress.com and for Tumblr, for Weebly and Blogger, for example, and being able to put the complete profiles links into sidebars if we choose as optional as well. All of that can be done, and it can be done probably within about a week, but it will be semi-automated. There's no other way that we can do it, okay? But I'd rather have it in there as an option for you because it gives you some really, really good advantages if you can do that for keeping those accounts long term and for some nice internal linking with the new profiles as well, which is pretty cool. So those things will be added. Some of it will be for the upgrade version, and some of it won't, but I'll try and be fair to everybody. regardless of what version you've got, which we've already done, and I will highlight that as we go through the webinar as well. All right. Delicious is a problem, Polish. Even if you try to create an account manually on Delicious, you'll find it is problematic. And if you're in ifttt.com and you try and manually activate within ifttt.com without using the tool, just go into ifttt.com with an existing Delicious account if you got one and try and activate it, you'll find it won't, okay? Or go and try and create an account in Delicious and you will find that you cannot right now. I kept it in there because they might change it. Maybe there's something wrong with Delicious that they're working on, so I just kept it in there rather than delete it and then have to recode it again later. Okay, don't give it too much thought. The way that we have created these syndication strategies, they're all very clean syndication. Okay, we're not doing crazy things like the link wheels and the silos and stuff like that anymore. I just found it was too messy and I didn't want it. Okay, that's the one thing I really disliked about IFTTT Backlink Commando is the way that I did those strategies, because they crossed over. They would you would get multiple posts on the same sites and the same accounts, and it was just messy. So I've kept the syndication really clean. That also gives us the advantage of if there are some accounts not working, it doesn't affect the rest of the syndication. Okay, it's just nice, clean syndication, and we can still work with tiered linking. Even with the light version, you can work with tiered linking, which I'm going to show you in this webinar how to do that. Okay. Okay, Richard, some semi-automation is okay once accounts have been added to the new profiles. Yeah. Okay, Don has got to go something unexpected. All right, Dan, thank you. Right, so, yeah, I just wanted to get that kind of stuff out of the way first so that people can understand that we've still got a lot of work to do, okay? And, you know, you can pressure me in the Skype group for to get stuff started for Bookmark Tool, but I don't feel that I want to do that right now. I just want to buy a little bit extra time, but I'll be upfront with you. And, you know, I'll be as open and transparent as I can be for the information I've got right now anyway. Okay. Right now, with the syndication stuff, let's start with the light version, what we got in the light version. Now, we've got this SyndMap Manager here, and you've got these first 6 syndications. Okay, you got Blogger, you get Dailymotion, RSS, Tumblr, WordPress, YouTube. Okay. One of the things that we need to do, somebody mentioned on the Skype group the other day, was to be able to add like WordPress self-hosted sites. You can actually do that within IFTTT. Okay. We just haven't figured out yet how we do that from the tool to connect with IFTTT. I'll get Gunpowder to look at that tonight. We had a couple of days where we were working on another tool because I've got Project 66 course coming up this week. I needed a tool made, so I've got something I can kickstart that campaign with and explain why I'm using a specific tool, why I built it, etc. So you can watch me rebuild my business actually in that course. You can watch and rebuild the business in a slightly different market. It's not going to be all SEO focused, but it would be interesting. So, you know, come and join that first 1 or 2 webinars that I will give out for free. Then after that goes into a premium course because we get into some really ninja stuff for building out a business within the internet marketing niche. So I had to get him to build that for me before we did a webinar for Project 66, and that's coming up, I think it's tomorrow or day after, so it needed to be done. So we kind of took a break from Social Synd Alpha, but tonight we will start again in here. And the stuff that we will get done probably in the next 7 days will make it look completely different tool as well, make it a far, far more powerful tool as well. So we had a break, we had a trip in the airlines and stuff like that, and we're back at work, and hopefully we can start to make real progress now and really take this further. All right, now, as I was saying, the light version, you got these 6 syndication strategies, okay? I deliberately put these as what I thought would be the most popular, and also I wanted to get this in here as well. Some people, I understand, might not be able to afford to, you know, pay $197 a year. I get that. and you've been waiting a long time for IFTTT Backlink Commando to work again. I understand that as well. I wanted to put this in specifically to give you a major advantage. You can do tiered linking with just this one strategy. In fact, most of what you can do with the Synd map editor, you can actually do here. It's going to take a lot longer. It takes a little bit of calculation, but you can do it. Okay. So for example, in here, if I start off an RSS strategy in here, what I can do, if I want to use this for tiered linking for the light version, what I would do is come over to the Synd mapper, and you can see I've already got something already mapped out here where I've put in this exact, let's come back over here. Where am I? Okay. I put in this exact strategy here. Okay. I've mapped it out using the advanced version, but I'm going to show you how you can do exactly this with the light version. Okay. It will look something like this, but you have to do one at a time. You will not be able to do all 5 at a time, but for simplicity, I've put this in already so that you can see exactly what you would need to do. So if you've only got the light version, it's okay. You can still do a huge amount more than what you could ever do with the IFTTT Backlink Commando, and plus you get much more success with the accounts, etc. as well. Okay, but all you would be doing is choosing one account at a time. Then you would go and start another account. What you will notice up here is that we've got 3 tabs at the top here. Okay, this second tab is where we choose our RSS feed. So we need one to kick off with. Okay, that's going to be our main content. That's going to be something like money content, whether you're blogging, like I did from time to time, or you've got a landing page, or you've got a CPA offer, or you want to rank some videos, whatever it might be, that's where you're going to kick this off from. So it could be a YouTube RSS feed. It could be a WordPress RSS feed. The first one is where you're kicking it all off. So if I come back over here just for being able to see in a sort of visual form what we can do, that would be this middle one here. That would be, for example, my WordPress RSS feed, and it would be posting out to all these different accounts in here, or the ones that I've got accounts created for anyway. Okay. Now, what I could do from there, when I come to the second wheel, or the second ring, whatever you want to call it, I could take the RSS feed from any one of these, okay, and I can start syndicating out one more time, okay, and that's going to be connecting this to this, okay, so these two are going to be connected if I do that. All I need to do is choose the RSS feed from one of these, okay, which is really why it's very important that we can have that semi-automation built in for creating accounts on sites like Tumblr and WordPress. And also we believe we've still got to take it a little bit further, because it's got to go and create a blog in there as well. Okay, I think that's not been done yet, but it will be done tonight. So this will give us that syndication where you can link out. Now, there was a guy on Fiverr.com. Let me just go and find this. And I'll show you what he was doing. I've showed it before last webinar, I think, but I want to find it one more time, because if you see the way that he has done his, then it will make more sense what we're trying to do here, which I think probably came from the guys at the Hump Day Hangouts. I think they were teaching this kind of stuff. I didn't really pay a lot of attention to it at the time, but let's go and see. And I believe that those guys were charging a lot of money at that time to do this sort of done-for-you service, which we can now automate completely. Okay, so you've got this guy here. He's selling for $85, like for rings like this. All that really is doing, I mean, the way to achieve this is just via the RSS feeds. You can do this from the light version. Just you need to calculate it a little bit more. Okay, you can do this exactly like this. So you've got linking from your internal sort of first tier circle or ring, whatever you want to call it, into the other 4. Okay, the difference is with our tool with Social Synd Alpha, we can add up to 10 rings in here. I haven't attempted to do that, and partly I haven't attempted to do it because, you know, we haven't got a lot of space here to work. I need to make this get a lot smaller so that we can work with it. But it doesn't matter where you put these in here. All we need to do to create this is to assign each one of these to a particular group, okay? And that particular group is going to be posting to a particular account, okay? I'll explain that in a little bit. as we go forward. Okay, so let's come back over to the light version. This is what we're trying to achieve. So what we want to do is we want to get an RSS feed from here, okay, and we want to do that 4 times. So we would choose normally something like Weebly, we would choose WordPress, we would choose Tumblr and Blogger. Those are the blog sites, okay. That's where we can get a lot of content with the sort of maximum flexibility. Okay, now think about this for a second. Say, for example, I wanted to put something that's got an offer for an email submit, or I wanted to do something that's got an offer to download an app that you get a commission on, or even a landing page with an opt-in form, all that kind of stuff. You can do all of that from blogs pretty easily. It's not that hard to do. Okay, it's really, really simple to do. All you need to be able to do is to be able to use some HTML, which all of those do. Okay, WordPress allows it. Blogger does for sure. I'm pretty sure Weebly does. And Tumblr, I can't be sure, but I'm pretty sure it does anyway. That gives us that flexibility that we can start to think about conversions and not just about backlinks, okay? That gives us the ability where we can start to think about social traffic with a purpose rather than just backlinks and SEO, okay? At the end of the day, we've got conversion in mind, whether we do SEO, social media marketing, or whatever it might be. All those are traffic generation strategies with another goal behind it, okay? The goal is always going to be some kind of conversion, okay? So what we can do with these is we've got maximum flexibility. This is what we want to be working with. We want to be working with the Blogger, the Tumblr, the WordPress, the Weebly, okay? If we can get the RSS feeds for these, then we can achieve something like this very, very easily, very, very simply, and we're backlinking the most important content in here, okay, which starts from your own site, okay? So if you start from your own site and you have something like a landing page, or you have a product review, or you have an offer for a CPA network, or wherever it might be, you can start from your WordPress site or from YouTube if you want to do it for video ranking instead. You can start from WordPress though if you want to go into the conversion elements, okay? That's going to be far, far easier. And if that is posting like a clean post into WordPress.com and then into Weebly, then into Tumblr, then into Blogger, it will keep the formatting. When we were doing things like before, like the silos and link rules, it was all getting messy. The content looked horrible. It looked really, really not good, okay? That's why we've got this just direct syndication. So whatever we do from this middle ring should be your best content, okay? Ideally, it's got some conversion factors built in, or conversion elements built in, so that you can achieve a goal, which is why we've gone through the traffic, okay? So how do we do it with the light version? Then we would need to know what are the RSS feeds for these. But here's a problem right now. Okay, when we go over to the account creator, if we've got WordPress.com, we can find the RSS. We can find the RSS for Tumblr. We can find the RSS for Weebly. Blogger, I will find out what the RSS feed URL is. It's not that hard for us to understand what these are going to be. All this is changing in here is going to be the sort of subdomain of whatever blog we're working with, okay? So you can see I've got Dalton and a bunch of numbers here for Tumblr. It's the same for Weebly. It's the same for WordPress. Just if, you know, the format's the same going to be for every blog that you create on one of these sites. Okay. Problem we got right now is that WordPress, they're very, very alert to software automation happening in their site. They're picking up really, really quick, as is Tumblr, okay, which is why we need to get the semi-automation built in really, really quickly. So the first week you're using this really is just getting to know the tool, and while we work in the background to make it better. Now the key thing here is that we have that semi-automation so that we can build that those accounts in a way that's going to make them last a long time. So we need the bios, we need to change the themes, we want to put some links and stuff into the sidebars, and maybe randomize some other kind of widget elements and stuff like that to make them look as real as possible. Okay, the advantage we got by doing the rings the way we've got with just the plain syndication is that you won't get that really awful looking content that's been mashed too many times in between different places, and it's got links all over the place from previous syndications, like, you know, 3 steps down kind of thing. Because if you're doing the silos and link rules and stuff like that, you were actually going into sort of 9 tiers. You were posting from Blogger to Tumblr, Tumblr to WordPress, WordPress to somewhere else. By the time you got to the end of that syndication, those posts were looking really awful. You know, they've got absolutely no value as far as, you know, people looking at the content. They would just bounce straight off, although they might have some link value. Okay, so that's what we need to be working on this week so that we can get this working. But this is the way that we can do it with the RSS, and this is the way that you can plan it. Okay, so I'm just telling you this in advance so that you know what to do and how to do it. Okay, and we will get working on this tonight so that we can make it happen. Okay, right now, so if we were doing this from here and you got the light version, then all you're doing is you're starting your feed with the first one. When that is finished, then you're just coming in and you're choosing, again, you would be choosing this one, RSS Power Feed. Okay, so you're choosing your account and you would choose the first account. Once you've created your recipes, then you would keep it on RSS Power Feed, and all you're doing is simply moving on to the next accounts in here, going over to your RSS feed and taking the RSS feed for the second one is going to be one of these. Okay, that's how you can do it. So you can actually do that tiered linking really, really effectively just with the light version. It's not that hard to do. Okay, so does everybody understand that? I know there's a lot of people who didn't take the upgrade. I'm not quite sure why. There was a lot less sales than what I expected we were going to do, but it's not a big deal, and we keep moving forward with it and making it even better. But I've got some things written in that Google Doc that you can see what we're going to be building in, which we'll cover in a couple of minutes as well. Everybody understand everything so far, what I mentioned there? So if you've got that live version, you can do this. Okay, I just explained how to do this. If you've got any questions on that, then now is the time to ask me, so that it's a lot easier for me to answer it here than in the Skype group. You're not waiting for a reply in the Skype group, in other words. Okay, let me just come back over here. Okay, in the accounts, click on add. There's no Facebook and others. Okay, let's go in here. So let's see. So we're in here. Add. Okay, what's happening with this? When we are creating the syndication in here, let's run one and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm in the Synd mapper. I've got just one feed. Okay, let me take a different RSS feed for the purpose of not duplicating into the same accounts, because I can't remember what account I used here. Actually, I'll take just an account that, take one of these randomly, the last one. Okay, so if I go and start to create the feed, let me just do anchor tag first. This anchor tag in the outbound link will only show if you got it in your ingredients in your recipes, or applets as they call them now. So I'll put youtube.com. I'll just put anchor YouTube like that. Okay, just for the purpose of being able to do the syndication. Okay, so let me just cover that quickly, actually, the Synd Map Manager, because somebody mentioned this morning, like for the news blur, okay, said it wasn't working, it wasn't creating. What you need to do in here is you need to make sure that you're choosing like new feed item, okay. It's always going to give you that drop down there, so you just need to go through and choose which one you want. If you don't have that, and you've got new feed item matches, and you've got something like this, share a story, then it's not going to show because it's not got anything to work with. Okay, what you need to do in here is you can click on add a new site, or you can share a story. If you add a new site, it will create something called a BUR blog, okay, B-U-R-B-L-O-G. Okay, if you share a story, you're going to have a public link as well. Okay, so you need to watch your ingredients all the time. If at any time you go in here and you do something like this, for example, add the ingredients. Now, if I put in the anchor tag or outbound link, when I do that, then when we're in the mapper over here, if you've chosen anywhere anchor tag, this will appear. If you have not chosen anchor tag, it will not show. Like the outbound link is not showing here because I haven't got it in any of those strategies for that particular one. Okay, so whenever you see that, you've got to fill it in. otherwise it won't go forward. Okay, you might think the software is not working. The software is waiting for you to give it information because you've got it in your recipes or ingredients. Okay, so what we're doing for that Facebook situation or Blogger situation, what it's actually doing is going to pull up the browser where we need to fill in the details. Okay, we're doing it this way so that we can semi-automate part of it for you. So when the browser opens up, it's going to fill in details. For the details it can do, it's going to take us to the correct pages that we need to fill into the correct forms, and everything's just sort of laid on a plate for us that we need to go and fill in the details. So if you want to put in there for Blogger, then you would put in your Google account, etc. But I will take that further. I think we can actually put something in here where we can assign some accounts like that. Maybe we can upload from a CSV file or something like that. But the way it works at the moment, if I start creating recipes in here, I've got to choose an account. I've got to click on add in here to choose the account. Okay, add one RSS. I've got an RSS in here. Let's see, RSS. Okay, click on add. Okay, so it's even new for me. We're not even been able to use it much beyond doing the tutorial so far. Okay, so what it's saying here, software may ask for activation of some accounts. Okay, so if that account doesn't exist, or if that account has been sort of deleted by the platform that we're working with, which can often happen with Tumblr and with WordPress, etc. Let's see what happens here. What has gone on? Looks like I've got a problem with the IFTTT account itself. Yeah, hold on a second. Let me choose. Oh, I know what's happening. I know what's happening. Look, something to be careful of. You can see in here. Let me close this. Stop this syndication. Stop. Stop. Okay. This happened the other day actually. Abis was sending me messages when we were at the airport saying, "Hi man, it's not working." We've got to start setting up the IFTTT accounts, and if we don't do that, it's not going to look like this, where it's got success channel added in IFTTT. You can see here it's just success. Okay, I should have known better. Let's choose a different account that we can work with, and I can do that one more time. Okay, so let's choose. Make sure I've got one that's attached first. Okay, let's come up here. Floyd, Luciano, added to IFTTT. Some of these have failed. I'll choose another one. This one here. So this is White 715. Okay, so White 715 we will choose. I got worried. I thought we had another issue happening. Okay, let me just remove this one so I can add this one. Okay, so now we can start again. So this one has been added into the IFTTT. Now when it finds something that hasn't got an account, it's going to take us to the exact page that we need to add the details. That's all that's happening here. So we kind of semi-automated that for you. But we'll try and think of another way that we can do it where you can pre-add the accounts as well, if you want to. Yeah, John, you can do it on the other ones as well. I think what Gunpowder was thinking here is just, we'll semi-automate it this way. So, he wasn't being lazy with it. It was actually taking a longer way around for him to code it to make it easier for you so that would happen. But we can do it both ways. There's no reason why we cannot. So Weebly, you can see there's no Weebly blog being created, so it cannot take that any further. That needs to be fixed tonight. Twitter, I don't have an account there. So it's going to take me to the Twitter page. The browser should pop up in a minute and ask me to add the details. And this is the way it's been done. Okay, so you can do it this way. Or we can add it into the account creator where you can just add the details that you want. There's some good interesting options for buying things that aren't like Twitter accounts and some of the other accounts as well, which is what I want to try and explore a little bit more later, which when I get back to the Google Doc, I will talk about that one. See the access denied to, that should have popped up with the browser. Did it not pop up? Okay, that should have popped up with the browser. Maybe I missed it. Sometimes it comes to the side. Let's see what happens with the next one it happens with, and I can figure it out. But there should be a browser that pops up. And if it doesn't, we get that IFTTT sort of warning page that pops up. Right, now this one, again, no, okay, yeah. Okay, I'm going to stop it there. Looks like we got a problem with the browser that's supposed to be popping up. It's kind of ironic because when I was doing the tutorials I couldn't get rid of the damn thing. Now it's just popping up with that IFTTT warning page, but we can fix that pretty quickly. It's probably just a very, very small bug that we can just recode very quickly. Okay, so we will add in there as well for your account creators. If you want to go and add in here for Facebook, for Blogger, etc., you can do that. Okay, and we were working on something similar yesterday anyway. We've got a new tool that I got built for the Project 66 stuff so that I've got something to sell and can make money from week 2 with that course. We were working with, excuse me, Google+, we were working with Facebook and Blogger and those kind of sites. So we already have the codes that we can add in there that can help with that for the posting, etc. as well, where we can even bypass IFTTT sometimes if we choose to, which is something I want to build in as well. So sometimes you will find some sites have a problem with IFTTT for one reason or another, but we can easily add like just direct posting as well as an alternative, maybe just an extra button where we can finish off some kind of syndication, or you can do something a little bit more strategic with sort of tiered linking within even just the profiles. You can do tiered linking. Right, let's see. Weebly, yeah, I can't, if they're asking for things like SMS verification, there's not a lot we can do with that. That's one of the problems with working with third-party sites like IFTTT. We have to work with what they give us, but you can purchase Weebly accounts that have been form verified as well. Okay. Okay. Polash, can you see the post that's being created right now? Let's have a look. Okay, so this one is going to be, there's no post being made, Polash. All we've done is we set up an RSS feed. Okay, so when I do the post, then it will come up. I would need to go to that account. Okay, when I go to that account and log in, then I will be able to see it. It's going to be easier to see with one of the blog sites like WordPress, but I haven't done any posting from the RSS feed yet. So remember, from my blog. Okay, what I'll do is I'll put a link in later. When I put this replay up, I'll put it into the blog. Okay, and that will make a post from the blog into WordPress and wherever else in here. Okay, I'll finish the rest of these off later as far as the ones that we can do, and put some Blogger, etc. in there as well so that we can do that. So I'll send you the link in, but it's not actually doing posts. It's not like the Web 2 embeds where you're posting directly in there. This, once we have set it up, we don't have to go and make posts into these accounts like we do with the Web 2 embed tool anymore. It's kind of set and forget. So everything from the RSS feed from now on will get posted into these sites. Okay, that's the difference. And that's part of the beauty of IFTTT is you set it up one time and you forget about it. Okay, it's just set up. And that means we can play a numbers game as well, because what was kind of either costing time and money before with buying gigs on Fiverr or creating those accounts or whatever, we can now do completely automated for most of these sites that we're just working on in a numbers game. But I think it's important that we get the blogs done properly so that we can take that further with the tiered linking. But that's tonight's job. We will get that done. Okay, let's see. Simon, you use a site called Get SMS Code. Okay. Maybe I can integrate it. I'll take a look at. Let me just put that. I'm going to paste this into the Skype group so that I can find it later. Okay. There we go. So that's there, and we can do that. But you can see that if we do not have that ability to manually add those sites, it's going to be kind of problematic. By the time we get through all this, we're going to have a whole bunch missing that we really want to have in here. So that's why the semi-automation has to get started tonight. All right, let's come back over to the Google Doc. I'll explain a little bit more what we've got coming up. This is kind of written down like a blog post. You don't need to read all of this. What I wanted to bring your attention to was this link over here, okay? And this you can see at any time. You can see what upgrades we're going to be working on, okay? So I've already mapped out some stuff that we're going to be working on, okay? First, we need to get anything to do with account creator. It's got to be sort of priority because we need as many accounts as we can, and that includes the bio profile, okay? Account creator and bio profile is pretty much working together, or will be, you know, the profile thing will be in a tab in the accounts somewhere up here, okay? So that we can do that within the account creator. The bio profile, as I mentioned before, it will be semi-automated. There's no way that we can get it automated. It was taking too long to be able to do it. Some sites we were just finding it really hard to work with. What you need to understand as well is that sometimes we're using an API key. Like when we're working with IFTTT, we're using an API key, okay? When we're doing things with API, sometimes we cannot achieve what we want to achieve. So then we have to switch to what's called browser control, which is just mimicking human movements on the computer, okay? That's what tools, what's the name of that coding tool? You got a whole bunch of tools being made like that, sort of lower cost, clunky kind of tools that are built using browser control. We used to use it a lot in the past, but we found it was a little bit problematic, and we sort of moved more into the API stuff. So when we're doing things like the bio profile, it has to be browser control. That's why it has to be in a separate tab, and it will pop up the browser and you will see things happening. You might have to fill in a few details. There's no other way that we can work with that, but we want to get it in there. And this will give us probably, you know, it will give us, should give us 100% success when we're using sites like WordPress and Tumblr and Weebly, etc. And it allows us then that we can go and create, you know, choose different themes. We can have it auto pop up for the themes page where you can choose one, where it can auto add some widgets just randomly, etc., to make it look as real as possible, and where you can put your bio profile images and all that kind of cool stuff in there as well. Okay, that's the next job. That's a big job that we've got to start working on next. Okay, after that we're going to do something called link monitor. Now there's two things that's going to happen here if we can do them. You see I've got a question mark there on this one. We want to be able to get, first of all, be able to communicate with IFTTT, because they usually notify you if an account goes down. Okay, that means that we can go and replace that account by taking one from the account creator. Second thing is we want to be able to get links for every single post created. So that would be an extra button, but it would not be in accounts creator this time. It would be somewhere else, maybe in a separate tab, where we go and retrieve links from every IFTTT account, where if, for example, it's a Blogger account, it will go in there and it will take all of the blog post URLs, get the RSS feeds, and that allows us to do so much more. Because if you see the way the RSS Advanced is working now, where we're taking those RSS feeds that we've got so far, it's mashing them all up, okay? It's posting them into FeedBurner, then it's indexing and pinging them, okay? What we can do then is we can do that for every single post. You can see the value from an SEO sort of point of view, being able to get the RSS feeds for every single post, to be able to get the URL for every single post done. Then we can take things a lot further for the SEO stuff, because it means we can go and get super fast indexing for every single link that we ever did, okay? And we can go back in time, as long as we save the data, and when we're posting, we can always go back in time and find that information with the tool. Okay, so that's going to be the next job after we did finish with the account creators and the bio profiles. After that, what I want to do is something called social explosion. Now, this is something that you have already seen before. It's not entirely new. We had a tool before called Social Traffic Commando. It was a WordPress plugin that had a lot of problems with, if I remember correctly, the coder had actually gone to work somewhere else. He had gone to work for a startup company. He's now come back, but I want to build it into the desktop tools. And what it was doing is what you can see now with the Twitter RSS Extreme tool, okay, where we can put in 50 Twitter accounts, for example. Let me just show you. I think I've got one open here somewhere. Let's see, free ranking tools. Just bear with me and I'll show you exactly how that works. If I bring this over here, this is what it's going to be for a whole bunch of accounts. When we get into the accounts in here, you can see it's very easy for me to add a new account. This is what we want for this as well, to be able to put those kind of accounts like Facebook, where we've got just the authorization stuff to be able to work with. And you can add as many accounts in here as you want. So if you go to somewhere like buy account, I think it's buyaccounts.net or buyaccounts.org, where you can go and purchase a whole bunch of phone verified accounts for Facebook, Twitter, etc. Then you can go and add all this kind of stuff. Then what we can do is that we can go to this tab in here that says Twitter RSS Extreme. We can create a tweet. Okay, I'll just put it in here for the sake of doing something, and just actually before I do that, I'll show you something else. You can see in here that from these Twitter accounts, I can make any one of these an authority. Okay, this one here is a brand new account. This one here has got 14,000 followers. I want to build this one, for example, and I'm going to use this one to build it. Okay, so I'm going to make this authority one. And if I make this one authority one, then this with the 14,000 followers is going to help that to grow. Okay, so whenever I make a tweet, I can just come into that part of the tool where I can create a tweet, and I can put in here testing, yeah, syndication, social signals tool. Another typo. I'm going to click on that and submit it. And this is what we want to build into the Social Synd Alpha as well. You can see my tweet is here. Okay, all I need to do is click on process the next item. What that's going to do is going to retweet from the other account. Okay, so we've got the retweets here. Very simple, very easy. Now, if we do it on desktop tool, it's going to look a lot more elegant. But giving us that ability is pretty cool. What also is very, very cool about Twitter that I didn't even understand before as well is that the RSS feeds. You can actually get RSS feeds from, hold on a second. If I generate a new feed in here, let me just show you. You can actually get RSS feed from the tweet itself. Every tweet has an RSS feed. I mean, who knew? My coder found this out, and the guy that coded this WordPress plugin, he found this out, and so he's put that in. Now, what we can do then is we can put a title, description, links, etc. Okay. I think I've got one open here from a tutorial video I was trying to do last night. So all we would do is we put in title, and if we have this in Social Synd Alpha for the upgrade version, then it's going to be something really special because we can automate all of this. We don't have to mess about like we're doing with the WordPress plugin. Okay, we'll just put in a link, and then what we can do is we can build authority. We can put anybody's Twitter feed, Twitter account details in here. So as this is sort of social media marketing kind of tool, or sort of cross between traffic, social, and SEO, backlinks, etc., what I can do is I can maybe take some Twitter accounts for Social Media Examiner, for Backlinko, for something else, okay? And I can just mash them up. And what it's going to do is going to take my content here, and it's going to mash it up with their content. So it's sort of building that relevancy between your own content. Ideally, you will have a link in your tweet going back to your blog or to your money site, to your video, whatever. Okay, it's just going to make your content sort of aligned with their content, okay, which is going to help you. You can piggyback on their authority by doing that. This is what we want to build in. So we can do this in many, many sites. There's a whole bunch of sites we can do this for. Tumblr. We can do this for even sites like Quora, where the high traffic sites where we can upvote ourselves, okay? And if you think about this, when people are going looking for content that's trending, for example, on sites like BuzzSumo, if I go in here and I search in here like content marketing, just as an example, and I click on the go, it's going to show you the ones that's got the most social shares. I mean, we can manipulate that with tools like this, where he's got like 24,000. That's a little bit much. I mean, you're not going to buy 24,000 Facebook accounts and stuff like that, but you can kickstart. You can see how you can kickstart. Now, that's quite a broad term, content marketing. If you're in the sub niche, you could easily sort of rise up to the first sort of page within BuzzSumo, where a lot of people will actually go there. It's got massive, massive traffic. And it's a traffic platform, and to be able to get your content found. And this is a great thing that you can offer if you're doing local marketing for clients. You know, you can take a screenshot from BuzzSumo and show you've got a whole bunch of social shares. You don't need to tell them how you did it, but that's one way that you can do it. And to be able to do that properly, you're going to have to go and buy accounts for that, because the kind of sites that happens with, where you can sort of reblog, like Tumblr, where you can retweet and like Twitter, etc. Probably, you know, we cannot make accounts, we cannot automate accounts on those kind of sites, okay? But we can purchase them quite cheaply as well from, I think it's buyaccounts.net, or I'll need to get Stephen to give me the link later and post it into the Skype group, where we can get, you know, 1,000 Twitter accounts, where we can get 1,000 WordPress accounts, or whatever we want to do. You can even do it with expired domains with WordPress. Inside WordPress.com as well. That's another webinar another time. But even in WordPress, you can actually vote up, okay, with the WordPress.com. Sites like Quora, really high traffic. You know, if you've got somebody searching for content on Quora, let's go over to Quora and have a look, where we can simply upvote. I can put in here, backlinks 2017, for example, and see what the questions are about backlinks for 2017. How do I build backlinks in 2017, for example? That is probably going to have a lot of traffic coming in there, people looking for that kind of information, where it's got 16 answers. And you can actually upvote yourself with this kind of thing. That's what I want to build into Social Synd Alpha, that we can do this kind of cool stuff as well, okay, with the traffic. So it's not just thinking about the SEO, we're thinking about the traffic. Platforms that we can work with, even if they're not in ifttt.com, because when we create those extra tabs, they don't always have to be attached to ifttt.com, okay? We can put anything we want on those left-hand side tabs. They're just like plugins that we put into WordPress, but, you know, each plugin is doing a different thing. That's what those little tools are on the left-hand side. They're simply just plugins, and we're able to do that. Okay, so that's something that I really want to get in quickly, and this is something that I'd actually plan to put into the bookmark alpha, so that we can do that with the sort of interactivity stuff and get traffic as well, and not thinking just solely on backlinks and SEO. There's other ways that we can use these different platforms, and there's other ways that we can, other strategies that are built in that can help with both the SEO, with the traffic, and with social media marketing, with the curation of content and all that good stuff. Okay, anybody got any questions? Let's see, let me come back over here to my questions box, huh? Right, okay, what is the Skype group link? Okay, let me get that for you. I'll buyaccounts.org, like buyaccounts.com. Let me just pull that one up, actually. We can pull that in. I'll get a Skype group account for you in a second. Just clicked on that before. I forgot. go. You can join the Skype group from here. I'll send it to everybody in response to your question. Yeah, U-Bot, Simon, that's the one where they do the sort of macro stuff that they follow around. They're okay, those tools. If they're working, then you know, it's good. But I don't think it's going to be as flexible. I don't know for sure. I just don't think it's going to be as flexible as working with an API. From my experience of us working with browser control, but some things need to be browser control, which those kind of tools definitely are. They kind of work in a macros where they repeat actions, etc. Okay, so this is by accounts, byax.com. Let me just put that into the chat box so everybody can see this. And you might want to start thinking about getting some accounts for when we've got those extra bits added in here, like the social explosion, etc., because that's definitely getting into the upgrade version. Definitely. It's too important not to, because I think the social signals these days is massive, especially for video. We need that interactivity. So being able to do that is going to be pretty cool. All right, so you can see in here, you've got a lot of choices where you can buy like LinkedIn accounts, you can buy Facebook edged accounts, etc., and Tumblr. Okay, there's a whole bunch in there. I'll go and buy some later. Twitter accounts is what interests me, and because everybody who's an influencer, if you think about it, it's everybody who's an influencer, whether they're creating a video or making a blog post, for example, they all automate posting into Twitter, every single one of them. Okay, you can find everything you want in Twitter for content marketing. You can find everything in Twitter for latest news. It's slightly different from other sort of social media platforms, where Facebook's a little bit more personal and you've got friends and stuff like that. Twitter's a little bit more matter-of-fact kind of thing. There's less happening. At the same time, there's more happening because it's moving so fast, and that's why you need to use Twitter lists and stuff. But it's a little bit easier to manage, and you can get work done without being interrupted. Nobody really interrupts you so much in Twitter as what they do in Facebook. So for me, Twitter is a really important one, because from there, we can take the RSS feed for every single tweet, and we can go and get every single tweet RSS feed mashed up with somebody else's content who's an influencer. Plus, we can go and get those extra retweets and stuff like that, so that if we are into tools like BuzzSumo, that we can, you know, maximize the chances of getting found. Now, content marketing is huge, sort of traffic kind of keyword. But if you choose something maybe a little bit different, let's try something like, okay, let's try this, hyperbaric oxygen. I don't know if there's going to be any content in here, but I'll try it just to see what happens. Okay, 14,000, 1,600. These we could match, you know, with purchased accounts. These we could match. Okay, let's try another one. Let's try electric bikes. Electric bike kit. Okay, something kind of obscure. 219. I mean, you could easily dominate in here, and you can see that you can overtake them as far as like BuzzSumo is concerned. But it's not just BuzzSumo. It's not the only platform that does this kind of thing. There's quite a few of them, and more being built as well, coming out all the time. There's always something coming out. Where if people are following these kind of niches, then you've got a good chance where you can get discovered, etc. But how much attention does Google take for social shares is hard to know. There's probably some correlation. If you look at people that do things like the Google SERPs analysis, people like Brian Dino over at Backlinko, there was some other one as well I saw a few weeks ago, I can't remember. I think you find that interactivity is growing. Okay, social sharing would count as interactivity. When people are retweeting, when people are reblogging, when people are liking your content on Facebook, etc., and plus ones on Google, etc., that's called interactivity, as well as commenting. Okay, those kind of tools is what we really need to be focusing on now as well, because it's huge. It's really, really major. There's no point to, in my mind, to have a whole bunch of backlinks but there's no comments, there's no social shares, it just doesn't make sense. Okay, you need that interactivity there, so that's something we need to start working on. Some of the other things that we're going to be working on, I've sort of put it down here. I want to create especially for the social Synd alpha, for the upgrade version, because we can use this really well. If we can create an account, a Web2 account scraper, okay, for the expired Web2s, okay, and I want a tool for the expired domains as well themselves for self-hosted WordPress, so that if we build into social Synd alpha to use for self-hosted sites, then we can easily put together some nice syndication with PBN type of stuff using that syndication. Okay, that could be really cool. So I'll put a whole bunch of these things in here, and that you can read, and you can see where I want to take it. And there's a lot that we can really do with this. I mean, major things that we can do with this, and we can take in different directions. Like, how can we work in networks between multiple users? What would the purpose be? How could we do it? How can we create networks of Web2 accounts that are interlinking with IFTTT? It can all be done. It just needs a little bit of thought. And these are just some stuff that I've been mapping out. So that's when I started the webinar. I told you it's not finished tool. It's always an evolution. Any alpha tool is always going to be an evolution, and it will always go in a different sort of direction from when it was created. It will always branch out into multiple strategies. That's what the alpha tools are designed to do, and this one is no different, which is why I needed more time before we get into the bookmark tool, because I would feel that we got a lot of unfinished business here, kind of like I feel with alpha networks right now. We moved on too quick from that, and I need to go back, because it bothers me if I don't get in there what I need to get in there. I don't want to make that same mistake again right now and have two tools that I need to go back into. I'd rather finish them, and then we can go into the bookmark tool so that we can make each tool as good as it can be. All right, so you can see in there the things that we're thinking to build out, the things that I'll be sort of mapping out, I'll be pondering. I'll come up with some strategies that we can build in, and as many of them as I can get in will be into mostly in the upgrade version. So if you haven't purchased the upgrade version, it might be a good time to think about it, because once all these bits get put in, then the price is definitely going to go up. It's going to be a $500 tool at some point in the future. Okay, let's see if we got any more questions. Adrian, is it okay to buy Twitter accounts without any followers? Yeah, you can, but you would need to really work on it so that you've got some automation happening. If you go to a site called Crowdfire, is it Crowdfire? Yeah, Crowdfire. I was actually trying to build a tool that we could help with that, but he kind of freaked me out a little bit, because crowdfireapp.com he freaked me out a little bit because I asked him to do some things, and when I looked at it the next time, he had taken other things out, and he's got a habit of doing that. This is a different code, it's not Gunpowder. It kind of freaked me out a little bit, so I thought that let me just put this link in here. If you use a tool like Crowdfire, you can do that quite easily. You can help grow your following, and this got a free version and a premium version. There's other tools you can use as well that automate that kind of stuff. There's another tool called narrow.io that does something similar. I think Crowdfire is a little bit better. Okay, you can see I've got some content being posted in there already. It's telling me about engagements and stuff like that. Not everything is going to get engagements when you've got a brand new account, but if you just keep posting consistently, and if you get a tool that will go and like other people's content that's posted on Twitter, whether it's going to retweet, whether it's going to like, favorite, etc., then you will start to grow followers on Twitter, and from there it kind of branches out. Is there a software tool that does scraping of expired Web2? Yeah, Scrapebox is the best one. Scrapebox is definitely the best one. There was another tool I promoted not long ago, I think about a month or so ago. I didn't get a review copy, but I didn't get to use it. I meant to buy it, but didn't get around to it. There was another tool as well called, what was it called again? The one that Michael Bose is recommending quite a lot. No, it wasn't Web2 Sniper. Something else. I can't remember the name. I'll remember later. I'll put it in the Skype group. Yeah, Hunter-Gatherer. That's it, Bruce. Yeah, that one seems to be okay as well. We can build that too. We can build that kind of tool too, doesn't it? All we need is to map it out, and Gunpowder can code that for us. We can put it into Social Synd Alpha, so you can see the direction that we will take it. Once we start adding those things into the upgrade version, then it's going to be something really special. Okay. The link for the SMS service, yeah, I'll add that. I got that from Simon, I think it was. Okay, here's the link. I'll make it public. It's in the Skype group as well. All right. So I don't really know what else I can go through right now, because when we've got a situation where there's a little bug there with that browser, I don't like to put that thing on webinars because it's going to sit there forever. Yeah, so that's why I stopped the syndication. And if it was just popping up where I was closing it off, that would have been fine. So what we will do is I've still got some extra videos that I've already recorded but haven't got into YouTube. But I was wondering why they were not in the member areas, because I ran out of time. I forgot to upload them to YouTube, but they were recorded. So we will get them in to the member site tonight as well. There wasn't much more there to add, but there was things about using the Synd mapper with things like the Synd Maps editor, and how we can use it for tiered linking and stuff. So what I will do next week, once we have that sorted, we will do this strategy from start to finish. Okay, so you can see how it's done with the tiered linking. Okay, by that time we should be able to have some extra bits in there as well that will help us, like the semi-automation stuff that we need. Okay, so that we will be able to keep the accounts that we create, or have a higher chance of keeping the accounts. Plus, if we got the WordPress self-hosted in here, then that's good as well. If we can use that, then we can go and get some expired domains, and we can go and get some, we can do some really, really sort of strategic ninja SEO stuff that we can take things to a different level. Just need to open your mind and the possibilities once we've got everything there that we can do. But I really need the semi-automated bio profiles, and changing the blog themes, and putting the links in the sidebars, etc., all of that kind of thing when you see it together. So hopefully that's what we can do next week, and we can do it all from start to finish, including changing the themes, including putting the links into the sidebars, and then you will see it coming together where it's getting really, really powerful for that kind of thing, where we can take it a lot further. Now, if we add into that the social signals, and if we add into that with the expired domains, and then we can go in and create a scraper for Web 2.0 accounts, and you can see the direction we will go with it, and make it kind of exciting tool that we can use, that everybody really should have a copy of, to be able to really take advantage of what IFTTT gave us, which is basically set and forget. Okay, a lot of that stuff we can do working with sites ourselves, but it's always going to be one piece of content, do the syndication. Even if it's automated with IFTTT, it's hands-free after you set it up the first time. That's the difference, and that's why people like it. Okay. These are considered tier 1 links. These, well, it depends. It depends. We can use these in a tiered linking system where we have them as a tier 2 and tier 3, where they're all sort of interlinking with each other. I'll tell you what's definitely a tier 1 link is bookmarking. Okay, don't use bookmarking for tier 2. Use it for tier 1. You can then use sites like this as a tier 1, and you can multiply the tiers working with the same sites by branching out, like we showed you here with this maps editor. You can branch out from here. So you take the RSS feed and create another ring, another ring. Okay, you can do it like that. When we're doing that as well, don't lose sight of the fact that when we have that link monitor, okay, we can get the RSS feeds for the posts, or for the social profiles anyway, for the social accounts, and plus we can get all the links that we have got content posted. Okay, and we can do a lot more with that from that point as well. We can do things with the RSS. We can do things with indexing and pinging, etc. So we can take that further when we have those bits built in. Money Robot does would be considered tier 2. I'm not sure what they're doing. Everybody's got their own sort of interpretations of that. I mean, I've been doing SEO for a long time. I've actually been trying to get away from it and into different directions where I'm just focused on traffic. I think the longer you do this kind of stuff, you realize the realization comes like, I need traffic today. You know, SEO is great. It should always be done. You know, I'm not, when I say trying to get away from it, I'm actually trying to get more into other sort of traffic sources rather than get away from it. I should rephrase that I'm looking at other alternative traffic sources that can get me traffic today as quickly as possible. Social media can get you traffic today. Okay, list building can get you traffic today when you send an email. Paid traffic from YouTube ads, paid traffic from Facebook ads can get you traffic today, from Twitter ads, from those different platforms. We can buy cheap advertising. Even StumbleUpon, you can buy cheap advertising. Even LinkedIn, etc. You can buy cheap advertising as long as you get your targeting right. Then it's fine. Okay, and that will also help SEO in a way, because if they come onto a site where you can reduce your bounce rate and you can get them taking actions, and you've got Google Console set up, you know, so everything is integrated. And I need to go into that kind of stuff sometime with the Google Analytics and stuff like that, and the consoles, and creating goals and letting Google see when people take an action, so that they can, you know, rank us higher, because they can see that people have that interactivity. They are, you know, fulfilling the goals that we created. That will help with the rankings. There's so many elements to online marketing. It's not just about backlinks. SEO is great if you can get ranking, but you've got to realize, like, to rank for those major keywords, it's going to take time. It can be done, but it takes time, and it takes promotion. Okay, in the same way that doing a Facebook advertising campaign takes time. The promotion's already built in by the time you have started the traffic campaign. But with, you know, things like SEO, you need high quality content before you can promote it, so that you can get those conversions. Whereas the paid advertising is just a little bit faster. And I think the longer you've been doing this kind of stuff, especially if you come up from an SEO background like I have, then you realize, like, I need a lot more traffic today. And so so instead of saying I'm trying to move away from SEO, I should really say that, no, I'm not trying to move away from SEO. I'm just looking at traffic today kind of strategies as well that I can integrate while the SEO stuff is happening in the background, which is, you know, non-stop. It's always happening. Okay. What is the timer showing? Where? On the corner of my computer screen? I don't know what you're talking about. You're talking about this? This is from GoToWebinar. This, if that's what you're talking about. Okay, that's just from GoToWebinar. It's just the control panel for GoToWebinar. I think that's what you're talking about. Yeah. Paid traffic is much better quality. It is if you get the targeting right, yeah, it can be. But I wouldn't say it's better quality, it's just traffic today, which is what we want. Okay, all this kind of stuff. I mean, that's why this tool was actually called Backlinks Synd Alpha, and I changed it because I thought about it, and I thought, no, we can make this so much more than just SEO. SEO and traffic and social is all integrated. Really, if you're thinking about it, social signals are becoming really important for Google to see that people are interacting with your content. So it gives them a signal that that content is high quality, therefore I want to give it higher rankings above this quality, this other content here that seems to have thousands of backlinks but there's no interaction. Okay, Google can see a lot more than what they could a few years ago, and it was so easy a few years ago. We used to buy tools like Forum Blasters and all that kind of stuff. I had all of those tools, and we just smacked the hell out of the, you know, at the search engines. We smacked the hell out of everything. There was one time where we built something like, I think it was about 25 sites in London, and I actually got Peter Garrity to build those sites for me. This is before Peter was kind of famous as a product creator himself, And long before I was even creating products, I was just doing SEO. That's all I did. And we built these 25 sites. I needed somebody to build the sites for me, and I found Peter in Warrior Form. He had a classified ads thing that he was building sites. And I got him to build these 25 sites. And we had one site, I remember, it was for divorce lawyers in London. And man, I was blasting the hell out of this. I had thousands and thousands and thousands of backlinks, and it would not rank. And I could not understand why this thing would not rank. And then I went into the Google Webmaster Tools, as it was called then. It was set for USA instead of London, UK. And as soon as I made that change, I think within about 24 hours, we were sat there at page 1. And then we couldn't get any divorce lawyers to rent it from us, which kind of done. So we kind of worked backwards with that one. And at that point, it was just at that point, I think I was starting to think about doing products, doing courses and things like that myself. But at that time, it was so much easier. Now it's not so easy. There's a lot more involved. You have to take a step back and look at the way that everything is integrating, whether it's the social, whether it's the backlinks, whether it's the amount of time people spend on your blog, whether it's the click-through rates coming from the search engine results, how long they will spend on your videos, are people commenting on your videos, are you replying to people commenting on your videos and all that kind of stuff. There's so many elements. Some of it might be more important than others. Well, we know that for sure. Some are far, far more important. But it all paints a bigger picture that probably Google has a much, much better view than what we imagine they might have. That's what I think anyway. I think they've got a much, much broader view than what we realize, and they will spot a lot of things. So the more we can make that interaction, the more we can make the reality look real, even if we are manipulating with the grey hat kind of stuff, then the better it can be. But a tool like this, it cannot be just a backlink tool. It has to be so much more, because we've got this syndication happening, that when we set it up one time with this kind of automation, which will not take a huge amount of time, you could train a VA to do this pretty easily. Yeah. Once you have that kind of thing, then you're going to have to start thinking about what we're doing with the content and how we're using the content with this, whether it's a tier 1 content, whether it's a backlinking content, whether it's a content with a conversion goal like an opt-in form or something, or a landing page or something. All of that kind of stuff can be syndicated, all of it. Okay, I don't know if it will work if you're posting from WordPress, posting from WordPress to Blogger, but we can go and test it this week and find out. We can go and test it tonight and find out. There's no reason why we can't, and we should. If it doesn't work like that, then all we're doing is we're adding a button that will send somebody to an Aweber form. Okay, so if you've got an Aweber account, you can embed your opt-in form, or they will give you a link where they host the opt-in form for you, and somebody clicks that, it's like a two-step opt-in. Okay, which in many ways is better. There's always ways around, and that's what we need to be working on. We need to focus on how we're using our content with this kind of syndication and what's the purpose. And it's not always backlinks. It really isn't. But we will cover that in some webinars that we've got coming up as we do more and more webinars for this particular tool. Okay, let's see. Can we build in a reporting tool that we can white label? Once we get the link monitoring, that's a possibility. Yeah, it's a possibility. If we can get the link monitoring the way I want it, then yes, we can. Then it's just a matter of putting it into a PDF, I guess. All right. Does anybody get any other questions? Okay. So we need to fix the browser stuff, and we start working tonight on the semi-automation. What we will do is we will do regular updates rather than wait till we get every single site semi-automated, where we're going to change profiles and bios and stuff. We will just do it in sort of increments where, maybe 3 or 4 sites at a time, so you can keep seeing it being built up. There's also in the Web2 embed tools, in the other alpha tools, we will also be adding more sites into those as well. If anybody's using tools like Money Robot, for example, let me know what sites they're posting to successfully as well, because we can build this into our account creators for other tools as well, especially bookmark sites. If they're using video sites, let me know which ones are successful. Okay, as far as what you're using, if you can do that, then it'll be okay. John VidMe, there's a good point. I actually was thinking the same thing, that it should be deleted as a video site, but if it's posting in there, then from the VSA tab, which we got in here, then we will keep using it. But I think we actually already added, I don't know if we managed to do this before we left, but we should have a whole bunch of embed sites on our PB embeds over here. We've got a whole bunch of embed sites over here that we can use. These are actually coming from Alpha Networks, and it means we can use for video embeds as well. These are video sharing sites on the Alpha Network system. We've got some more to add in there as well. We can add probably another sort of 10 or 20 per week in there. That'll give us some extra. Okay, so anybody using tools like Money Robot or any of those kind of tools, let me know what sites they're posting to successfully. If they've got sites that we're not using, I can get them done and add it into our tools as well. And it saves us a little bit of time doing research and testing, because if it's working successfully for them, then it should be able to work successfully for us as well. All right, I think we can end up here, guys. And next week, when we got these bits fixed and when we've got the semi-automation done, we can run through and we can do like a start to finish campaign with tiered linking, with the bios, with themes changing, with links in the sidebars, etc. Okay. All right. Unless you get any more questions, I think we can probably just stand up there. All right, guys. Thanks for your time. Thanks for showing up. And if you get any suggestions, any feature requests, let me know in the Skype group. Okay, and I can add it into that document. That document you can keep a link to, and you can see what's happening, everything that we're planning, and you can see exactly what's going on. So the things I've got in the first Google document here, where I've got my own sort of brainstorming ideas. This is where the ideas always start from, just brainstorming bullet points. Then they go into a little bit more formatted, where I can explain it to the coder, and then he will go and code it. It's typically how it's done. So this will start to get moved over to here. So if you keep the link for this, you will always see what's happening, what we are planning to work on, and that way you can see the progress being made as well as we sort of chop them off and bring new stuff in. All right. Thanks. I'll see you later.